And welcome back to another episode of Minecraft with me, Blue Nexus Gaming. Yeah, nice. I think I just accidentally shut down. I did. Okay. So, here we are, once again, in my Minecraft Let's Play world. Let's see what all we have today. Right, today I was working on clearing out the mountaintop above. And the minecart here decided to stop running. Let's see if we can fix that. Give it a nudge. Okay, I like that that works. Let's walk over here, make sure we don't have any kelp or anything in the furnace. No? Okay. Do we have any kelp ready to be harvested? Or collected, I mean? Do we have any collectible kelp? Let's find out. We have some. Not much, but some. Is there any spare hoppers I can pull out to start draining these overflow chests? Theoretically I could pull out that hopper, but that would just get me one of the chests. I'd want, like, two. Because then I have a hiccup. It's a decent number of lanterns. Let me grab those pumpkins. And then I shall carve them up accordingly. Okay, let's see what we got here. We've got 17 each. Well, let's see how much 17 is. Actually, I can do some easy quick math on this. 8 plus 1. Okay. Because I can do 4 at a time. Or sorry, 4 tall. 4 at a time. But yeah, I can do a 4 tall stack, which then allows me to put it back here. Goes from there to there. Oops. Now I hop up on top of the pumpkins. I can start placing them down up here. Boop. And now I grab the shears, because I totally forgot to grab the shears. Okay. Got another pumpkin too. Cool. One more lantern for the pile. A lot of lanterns. Okay. Let's put away the map so we can see. There we go. Yeah, I have noticed that a lot of my viewers are not liking the videos. They're not disliking the videos, they're just not hitting that like button. I also noticed that a lot of my viewers are not subscribed, so if you would be ever so lovely of a person, you could go ahead, give the notification bell some love, give the subscribe button some love, give the like button some love, and perhaps help me help the channel, really help everything just kind of grow organically, you know? It seems like I'm not doing much effort. That's because I'm not. It allows me to focus more on building quality content if I'm not putting in too much effort, because it allows me to maintain my focus for longer periods of time. For example, I entirely forgot what I was talking about last episode. So on this episode, I'm just going to kind of wing it and hope that I manage to remember whatever it was I was talking about, because that's just how I do things. I know it's an underrated content creation method, because it means that the viewer needs to understand that there is vast quantities of time happening between episodes. But it's okay, because you know what? As long as we get these episodes out, as long as the viewers enjoy the content being made, then that's all that really matters, really. However, it would be very helpful if my viewers decided that another thing that mattered perhaps might be a monetary support. If so, if that type of thing might interest my viewers, then I have a Patreon page set up for people to donate money to me, so that I'm not stuck with such a limited scope of what I'm able to do, as my equipment is really my truly limiting factor here. I try to make sure that I am very successful in creating quality content. However, there's only so much I can do when the limiter is my hardware and not my software. Software is one limit. However, hardware is the more problematic limit, as the hardware is what costs money. The software can be built for free, technically, if you know what you're doing. I don't know what I'm doing all the time, so I don't exactly get the opportunity very often to build it for free, because I'm usually busy doing things like recording these Minecraft Let's Play videos. The capacity for building quality videos on a shitty device is, well, let's just say it's a shitty device. So if you're building quality content on bad material, you're going to end up with, like, decent content, optimistically speaking. Optimistically speaking, mind you. Realistically speaking, you're probably going to end up with subpar or underrated content, such as this. As you can see, I did a little bit of remodeling. I lowered a lot of the pumpkins so that this is all nice and flat. A lot of the lanterns. So I now have that situation That didn't fall down there, did it? No. Okay, so I now have that situation somewhat managed. Let's see. There is a pumpkin that goes there. Yeah, I have this situation slightly managed now. So as I continue to expand, I will be able to grow my various portions of my mountaintop excavation. That's in the wrong spot. There we go. So yeah, as you can see, it can be incredibly easy to just simply place down the pumpkins in the correct location, if you know what you're doing. If you know the pattern, if you're able to easily visualize it, all these little if statements. But if statements can be iffy. Buddy, rim shot. But yeah, the problem with building in this fashion is specifically that, it can be difficult to actually... That spawned the skeleton horses? It did not. Okay. There's a skeleton horse trap that spawns over there, so I had to check. Now what? Oh. This part's not lit. That should be remedied. This is probably where I got all these lanterns. Okay. Put those in. To install. Oops. It's facing the wrong way. There we go. Okay. Now I just need a little bit more lantern over here. And that'll allow us to make use of the full area in which we are working. Okay. Now I do notice that there is a lot of rain particle effects going on, despite the fact that I'm in a snowy biome. That is because of two reasons. One, as I get lower, the snow becomes less, well, snowy. Two, suppose I don't need that or that. However, I might want that. And I just back up. Okay, I saw that lightning strike. That happened right down there. Yeah, looks like a drowned got transformed into, well, a drowned. So yeah, the lightning storm effects aside, there is a lot going on. So I will of course, want to explain a few things. For example, I set up this lovely path so that I could get down. I just sprint down. I also installed these barrels so that I don't have to constantly return to base in order to deposit cobblestone. Instead, I can just deposit it up here, bring the barrels down with me. I understand I will need to move the barrels repeatedly. However, that will give me an option to postpone temporarily the transport of the items. And then I can just do little transporter trips, which are much better for me because then I don't have to worry about things like, hunger as much, because instead of running like 15 dozen trips down to the surface level in order to put away items, I'm instead able to make better use of my time by not needing to run all over the place until I'm able to dedicate my entire inventory to just transporting items. So I can set it so that I'm just transporting cobblestone, for example. And that will allow me to make use of my entire inventory instead of just reserving portions and grabbing a chunk here and a chunk there. Instead, I'm able to dedicate my entire inventory to item transport, allowing me to quickly and easily, as well as concisely, move all of the items around that I need to move. That isn't right. That goes there. One there. One there. And boop. Boop. Yeah, if I wanted to, I could easily just map this all out with torches too. Yeah. Let's see, torch. There we go. If you were clever enough and paying attention, you would notice that this formation does in fact form a double helix, which is, of course, a lovely formation to have. Assuming you know what a double helix is, it is the shape of a strand of DNA. So if you have a double helix formation, you have what appears to be a strand of DNA. Because the proteins of DNA will constantly double back and cross over and curl onto themselves as they wrap around, because, well, they're proteins. They kind of stick to everything. It's kind of what proteins do. They bind things together. You know, if the proteins bound things together any better, the proteins would have to be named Isaac. That's a video game reference, as well as a pun. I've never actually played The Binding of Isaac, however, I am aware of the rather cyclical nature of the story of The Binding of Isaac, as I believe the plot of that game is that the guy, like, kills his evil mom, and then he's like, oh my god, yay, I'm free. You know, she's not trying to kill me anymore. And then he's all homeless because, you know, his dad's dead. His mom, who went insane and tried to kill him after his dad died, you know, she's dead. So he's just left without parents. He's left without a home. And then, like, this nice woman finds him, and she cleans him up, and she marries him, and they get pregnant with some kids, and then, like, they have a son and a daughter, and then the daughter dies, and then the son has to protect himself because, you know, it's the death of the daughter drove the mom insane, and then the dad died just before the mom went and just lost it because, you know, they were fighting, and then so the dad died, and the dad, being, you know, the helpful little ghost that he is now because he died, he decided to you know, save his son. But then in the process, he realized that he actually became the ghost that helped him when his mom died. So he ended up creating what's known as a vicious cycle, an endless cycle that you can't really break free from unless something breaks you free. And so that's the binding of Isaac, is that no matter what he does, no matter, you know, how he shapes his future, he will always have that issue where, you know, yeah, he saved his son from dying, but now his son has no dad, no mom, and the son is now going to be homeless, and then some nice woman's going to find him and clean him up and marry him, and then he's going to have 2 kids, and then one of them's going to die, and it's probably going to be the daughter, and then the son is going to have to fight for his life, and then the, you know, the dad's probably going to die again. And it's like, oh my god, stop living in this vicious cycle. What the hell? But he can't, because he's literally fighting for his life each time. So there's really nothing he can do short of, you know, warning his son, hey, this is happening. But his son can't hear him because he's a ghost and the son is not. So the son's just like, what? Huh? You know, whatever. You know, there's really no way for the dad to communicate the massive flaw in in their survival plan. You know, the flaw being they're stuck in a paradox loop. So that's the binding of Isaac. It's a rather brilliant method of explaining that the player is trapped in an endless loop of a story. It's probably one of the more clever designs that I've heard when people were describing their game for the player. I've heard a lot of different methods for, explaining the endless mode of the game, of various different games. However, there's something to be said about the simplistic elegance of the Binding of Isaac. I understand it's a terrible situation, and I understand it's a terrible game, but there is a certain elegance that goes along with the entirety of, well, everything that's going on there. Trying to think and talk at the same time. And humans aren't supposed to be able to multitask, so I'm doing I'm doing well considering I'm not supposed to be able to multitask, and yet I'm doing so anyways. However, the quality of my multitasking is questionable at best because I'm stuck trying to navigate where I want all of these pumpkins. And in the process, I have to make sure that, I'm placing the torches correctly, which is what the torches are for, really. To make sure that all the pumpkins are placed correctly. That torch is there specifically for lighting reasons. That one, for example, is not. So, let's put that one in. And then I can grab this block here, place it with lantern. Now I can start gathering all of these lanterns from up above. Oh, did I accidentally... No, that one's floating. Okay, so I didn't just place that. Okay. So now I can collect some of these extra lanterns that I have around the place so that they're not all just floating everywhere. Because the plan is to actually bring this mountain, down to ground level. That might seem like a difficult task, but it's mostly just tedious. It takes a lot of time, a lot of food because hunger mechanics. You gotta keep eating to keep your saturation going. Let's go ahead and sleep through the night. That way any monsters that did spawn will quickly burn up. Any monsters that were going to spawn don't. Because that's just annoying, having a bunch of monsters spawn. I believe the problem with this lantern is that there's a sheer cliff here. Yes, there is. Okay, so what I want to do... So I want to put that there. And then I can collect this. Put that there. And I can put another one there. Which then allows me to collect this torch. Now I get to correct this lantern. There we go. Now it's facing the right way. What I'm doing is I'm reorienting all of these lanterns so that they face north. That's literally what I'm doing at the moment. It's a very, very simple, basic task. But it is what it is, That's a very common phrase with me. It is what it is, because it simply states that if something is a certain way, then there's not really much you can do to actually change the way that thing actually is. It is what it is. It's not going to change, like, what it is for some inane or insane reason. That would be silly. It's going to continue doing whatever it does simply because that's what it does. That's its nature. That is its normal response to things. So, depending on, situational factors and other various miscellaneous buzz phrases, as it were, the capacity for change can be drastically altered depending upon the care given to the situation. For example, I'm sitting here measuring out where I want all of these lanterns to go as I excavate this next floor. And then that further allows me to go through, plant down all of the lanterns that I need to plant down, and then simply just go back with a pickaxe and excavate all of the stone. So, yeah, I'm crafting a lot of the torches into lanterns right now. However, I do still have these torches over here that I can work with. So I don't need to actually worry about, what am I going to do about torches? I plan to craft more torches anyways, simply because I have a lot of lighting to do. I have a lot of things that I need to light up, so I'm going to need a lot of torches. Because of that, I'm going to definitely be crafting a lot of different things. I'm going to be crafting pickaxes, I'm going to be crafting shovels, I'm going to be crafting lanterns. That was the reason why I grabbed like a stack and I think a 16th. Brought it up to this mountaintop, is because I knew I'd be using all of it. Now, currently, my videos seem to only be getting 1 or 2 viewers per video, maybe 3 viewers per video. However, some of my earlier videos have gotten as many as 15 viewers, 16 viewers. So I am starting to notice that my viewing membership is starting to increase. My click-through rate, even though it's only 2%, is still garnering me a sizable number of viewers. So I am able to progress rather well as far as expanding my channel on YouTube. It does get me a lot of progress when my viewers subscribe to my channel and my viewers like my videos, all of that stuff. We already covered that earlier. But it really helps a lot, because that means that I'm allowed to create the content that I actually want to create, which is the kind of content that my viewing audience seems to enjoy the most. I've noticed that about just any normal YouTube audience, really. Not just my audience, but any YouTube audience. The audience seems to enjoy the content best when the content creator is just enjoying themselves. Some people, they have a tendency to go for content that is listed as, completionist type stuff. But the completionist type stuff tends to be very limited, because what ends up happening there is they beat the game and then they don't really have an audience that just enjoys playing the game. They have an audience that enjoys getting all the achievements, an audience that enjoys, completionism, which is not a bad thing, but at the same time, it's not that great for sustaining, for example, a Minecraft Let's Play. That's not going to really do too much for their viewing membership. So, a lot of YouTubers try not to get too carried away with the completionism, because they're aware that if they do, they'll attract the completionists in their audience, and then those completionists will start complaining. So it really does help a lot to have a Let's Play series that is focused around just playing the game, because that allows me to have a stable viewing membership, a stable audience, very well balanced audience, and because of that, good balance in the audience and the viewing numbers, that allows for a wider selection of games to actually be played, because all of a sudden the player, the YouTuber, the person who's recording all of the videos, does not need to worry as much. And of course, I've talked in previous videos about how the YouTube algorithm is affected by the likes and the subscribes and the notifications, and it keeps track of, what your caption settings are, what your gender is, how old you are, your location. It keeps track of all of that stuff because Google wants to provide that stuff to the content creators, so that the content creator is able to provide an accurate viewing regimen for your local region, for your locale, as it were. Your tracking cookies. Everyone's always worried about your tracking cookies. What's Google doing with all of your data? It's big data. Oh my! And it's like, well, look, I understand you want your privacy. I want my privacy too. I like privacy as much as the next person. But at the same time, there has to be a point where you realize that there are people spending billions of dollars on research into your viewing patterns on YouTube. Billions of dollars, okay? Think about that. Because if someone's willing to spend $1 billion on you, don't you think they deserve a little bit of attention? They deserve a little bit of knowing what's going on, because they're spending all of this money trying to figure out what you want. That's literally what it's there for. It's there to figure out what you want. That's what the analytics are. So if you're worried about your safety, you're worried about your privacy, you just need to take a breath and realize that your safety and your privacy are also being insured by the same funding that is also actually privatizing your information. You know, you're making your information private, yes, but private to whom? Private to you or private to the people who are trying to make you happy? You know, you have to take note of when what you're hiding is what you should instead be broadcasting. Because sometimes you want to be broadcasting something, sometimes you don't. The difference between when is entirely situational. However, the importance of what that information is able to do for you, don't ask what you can do for your information. Ask what your information can do for you. That is a paraphrased Ronald Reagan. Ask not what you can do for your country, ask what your country can do for you. You know, that's Ronald Reagan. So I paraphrased that, and it's a very fitting phrase when paraphrased because it's very accurate for what all of this information provides. You know, all of this information is being provided to me by you through Google. So when you're sitting there worried about your privacy and your safety, keep in mind that that same privacy, that same safety is what I'm looking at when I'm uploading my videos so that I can tell whether or not I'm uploading good videos for you. If I'm not uploading good videos, I obviously would need to change what I'm uploading. But the only way I'd know that is through the analytics, where I'm, watching how much of me you're watching. That's really the only way I'd know, because I don't have any other forms of measurement that I'm able to access, Then I hop up here, and I hop up here. So yeah, a lot of these people who are, browsing on, VPNs and private websites and all that, you just got to keep in mind that, yeah, it is useful to make your information private. It can prove to be beneficial in some cases, in some situations. Maybe you don't want your information broadcasted all over the internet. But that same information is able to provide you access to a multi-billion-dollar industry. So maybe you should think about that the next time you go to launch your privatized browser with all of its ads that it's using to fund all of the research that they're doing on you.